welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Masterclass, a series of digital-first conversations that we do here on the show in our effort to ensure that every entrepreneur in every part of the country gets the opportunity to be front and center and to ask your questions live on a national platform directly to our experts. Tonight, we're bringing you a series of conversations that we did focusing on sustainability and why it's becoming so much more crucial for entrepreneurs to be sustainable and environment focused. What does green technology mean? How it's taking center stage? What are the big opportunities? What are the challenges when it comes to being a sustainable and an environment focused business? All of that being posed to our panelists tonight. Let me introduce them. Pradeep Krishnakumar, co-founder and CEO Zook. Chetsi Ahuja, founder and CEO Brown Living. Guneshwar Rao, CFO MTAR Technologies. Basant Patil, co-founder AltCo. Chetsi, gentlemen, so good having you with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow Masterclass.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Look forward to an exciting discussion here on the Masterclass. And Chetsi, maybe I can come to you first and ask you by way of opening remarks to really talk to our audience about what Brown Living does, where that idea came about. The floor is yours for the next 30-40 seconds.
So Brown Living is my brainchild, and it's India's first plastic-free marketplace for all things sustainable. 5 years ago, I started off my personal journey as a low-waster, and I realized that after so much research, it was super hard to get access to these products. And so I started on building a fair, clean, and human platform for all those who are working towards making this planet a richer and better place. And so Brown Living is essentially an amalgamation of multiple hundreds of sustainable businesses in India. We've brought them together for a larger purpose, which is consumption without waste and consumption without plastic.
Fantastic. And sounds like a really exciting platform. And I have checked it out. And there's some great products and brands for those of you who've logged in. If you haven't checked out Brown Living, now's the time to do that. Let me come to you, Pradeep. Yours is a well-known brand, but it also started with an idea to be sustainable. Just run us through what you do.
Yeah, Sunanda, I think when we started, we operate we're a D2C brand operating in the lifestyle space. Currently, we make cruelty-free and proudly Indian bags, wallets, and accessories. And the idea is to create more categories around this. When we started, we saw how animal-based leather is made. And we said, as co-founders with Disha and me, decided we don't want to put our names to it. That's how it started. As folks with an MBA background, we should have ideally sort of studied the market, done a lot of number crunching, etc. We actually didn't do that. We instead said we want to build a brand that we are happy to put our names to, right? And that's how all the products, etc. are done. Today, we have about 1 lakh plus happy customers who back the sort of leap of faith that we took, right? And about 150K followers on Instagram who supported the fact that there is a space for a PETA-approved vegan lifestyle brand from India for the world.
Great. And some of your products are displayed there behind you. I know you've launched a new line of laptop bags. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pradeep. That's the last time you and I had spoken.
Yes, these are laptop backpacks. Sunanda, I remember you wanted one. So we launched that. Hopefully, we'll see you also carrying one shortly.
Absolutely. Look forward to that, Pradeep. Mr. Rao, let me come to you.
Yes.
And, MTR does a lot of work and works also with Cleantech companies and has some very marquee clients. But just by way of introduction, if you could kick off today's masterclass by talking about the work you do.
Yeah, MTR Technologies is a 50-year-old company. The Make in India initiative is started from the inception of the company, like import substitution for the nuclear sector. We are into nuclear sector. Now we are into green energy and space and defense and aerospace sector. We are into these sectors. And major our revenue is coming from the clean energy sector, almost 60% of revenue we are getting from the clean energy sector.
Sure. Let me come to you, Basan. How about you? What can you tell us?
Yes. Hi, Sunanda. So we at Altco are focusing on getting plant-based and plant-based dairy and meat alternatives to the Indian market. We want to create products that are of global quality that are reasonably priced, and give these alternatives to the Indian market and nearby markets as well. We were the first company to launch a mainstream oat milk in India in a Tetra Pak format. And we have about 15 to 20 such plant-based products that are under development, and we plan to launch in the next couple of months.
That sounds exciting. Okay, let me then really try and get a better sense of what this market involves when we're talking about sustainability and what exactly is sustainability. One side, of course, of it is what we've been talking, that is, the products that the three of you have innovated on. There is, of course, also clean energy that Mr. Rao was talking about. But for a business to be truly sustainable, what does it mean? Where does it start? And, how can you ensure that it's not just something that, say, looks good on paper to say I'm a sustainable company, but it's something that becomes an ethos and a belief at the company. It's open to all four of you, but Pradeep, is this something you want to take on first?
Yeah, so I think, Sunanda, for us, in two parts. One is it has to come from the top. It has to come from the beginning. And I think we'll have to really put it out from the first time we describe the brand, right? I think once that happens, we can impose all of this very strictly, be it in product design, right? In fact, even in our products, whenever we've developed it, we've got options and to say, oh, you can save a little bit on cost here, etc. But we've not indulged in that, right? Because we've already put it out to our customers, and there's a promise that has already gone out, right? So I think it starts from there, right? I think over the course of time, I always like to say that there's, of course, one which is the personal, emotional angle. But for a business or a brand, it also needs to be in sync with the consumer so that there is a real benefit to do this, right? You might call it a more capitalist mind, but then that's how I sort of look at it from a business perspective as well. To say today's consumer is more conscious, wants to wear a badge of honor, saying, hey, I'm carrying something more responsible. And once that happens, then you know that it's in your benefit to do that. And then that aligns across every team, it aligns across everything that we do, and it also aligns across all leaders in the company, and then it'll flow right from the top to the bottom. So that's how we think of it at Zoka, Sunanda. We moved from, in the beginning, consumers saying, vegan bags, are you kidding me? It should be a food item, what are you talking about? To now, when customers talk about Zook, there's still a few other elements in terms of style, pricing, etc. that we need to get right. But then they do also add that they feel good about carrying a vegan bag today. Okay? So that's how it connects right from the beginning, from the top to the bottom.
Mr. Rao, I'd love to get your thoughts as well. As a company that's working so closely in the clean tech space, the focus on the environment post the pandemic has become just that much sharper. For businesses that are saying, I want to reduce my carbon footprint, I want to become more environmentally conscious, where do they start really?
Actually, see, as you know, the world is actually going towards the green hydrogen, green tech side. So the market is a huge market is there for all the players to capture this market. We work not as a customer and supplier relationship. We develop the product along with our customer. The fuel cell technology, like we are working with the Bloom Energy. In USA, 25 states, so the Bloom Energy is already there into this 25 states. So this generates methane as an input and makes the power. So it is very sustainable, and it can be placed in front of the requirement, like Google, Amazon, all these companies are 24/7, they need a power, and they cannot afford power outages even for a single minute. So these things actually very much essential for the this like everyone has been responsible. Even by 2030, some of the countries, they wanted to have 100% clean energy, zero emissions and all. So it requires, the support from the government, and also we need to develop technology. Everybody has got a different technology. Like fuel cell is one kind of a technology. Hydrogen cells is another kind of technology. So we need to capture rapid, faster, and we have to adopt this kind of technology so that we can have this clean energy.
I'm going to slip in a short break on that note. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow Masterclass. Trying to find how you can eliminate commonly available products, which are therefore cheaper when you're innovating, that just becomes so much more expensive. What would you have to say?
So I'm going to answer this question as well as the previous one on what sustainability really means to us. When I started out my journey, I actually started understanding what sustainability as a definition means. And my interpretation of that is, how do you be kinder to the planet and the species and everybody around you while you continue to live the life the way you want to? So in a sense, the company that we've built and all the offerings that we have is, how do you use technology to thrive while being kinder to the planet? And in that, I think the core perspective on sustainability is, how do you relook at your consumption cycles? How do you start measuring what you're consuming, how much you are consuming? So when you really think about sustainability, it's not just a buzzword or a trend. It's actually a value system that you need to start imbibing. So you need to start questioning, what is it that I really, really need? The fact that people during the COVID lockdown started appreciating sustainability was because they realized that only with buying essentials, they started actually saving so much money. We stopped buying unnecessary things and we only bought essentials. And so when you talk about sustainability being expensive, it's not really expensive. It's a different lens you need to look at it from. Whether you are consuming because you need it or you want it. It's a simple, difference between that.
Okay. This next question then is coming to us from Surabhi Shape. She says this question is to Guneshwar Rao. Any direct correlation between becoming sustainable and also the impact on the bottom line?
Yeah, see, the bottom line today in India, we are just enter into this sector, like clean energy sector and all. So we need to reduce the cost. Once there is the requirement is huge, then only we can reduce the cost and other things. Like, through innovation, design optimization, we can do, like favorable tax structure, import substitutions, indigenization of these products. So these things actually today, the cost of the renewable energy is more than the traditional energy. So we need to bring down the cost rapidly. Like even government and banks also, the interest subvention, these things has to be provided to the industries so that we can be sustainable in this sector.
Okay. In fact, I want to pose this pricing question to Pradeep. I should have come to you sooner, Pradeep, because if one were to look at the cost of your products, they are similarly priced to, other options, including being cheaper also compared to leather options, for instance. So then that argument really falls flat in the case of, products like yours.
Right. So, Sunanda, I think our philosophy has been this, that there are 2-3 aspects to it. Right? First and foremost, in the segment we operate, if I don't give you a product that looks good, you're not going to choose it just because it's a cruelty-free product. Right? So first is we need to get the style element of it right. The second is the functionality element right. The third is actually the pricing also has to make sense for the customer. the way I think of it is, one is to say, okay, my cost of making the product is going to be a little higher. But then the way we think of it is, it's going to be substituted by the cost of marketing the brand and the product when you stand for something much more bolder. At Zoop, what we've seen is to say, okay, if you make a product stand for something which is emotionally stronger, and as the connect with the consumer increases, your cost of marketing reduces, people have something more to say, right, about the brand, which helps more people to build brand awareness, right? So that means I might have to spend a little less on newspaper ads, which we don't do today, right? But I'll still have people talking about the brand more. I think, and then as scale increases, that's when the cost of goods also reduces.
Sure. This next question coming to us from Nikhil Narayan. He says he's from Pepper Lime Associates. Is sustainability, environment focus, etc., is it just a fad? Is his question. Who from the four of you would like to? Yeah, go ahead, Chetsi.
Can I take that? So I don't think it's a fad. I think it's extremely essential for our survival. You see, just step out of your room today and you'll see the temperature has risen. Like it's excruciatingly hot outside. Winters are cooler. All of this is, the only reason is climate change. And we are all contributing to it. So whatever little you can do in your own capacity, you must do and continue to do. And there are enough and more options available today, whether you want to, switch to, an electric vehicle, or you want to make changes in your waste management systems, or you want to start, with smaller products that you want, or just like stop consuming more. So I started something called Buy Nothing Challenge 5 years ago, and I have successfully not bought any piece of clothing in the last 5 years, and I've saved over 40,000 liters of water from going into landfills and water streams. So, I mean, these are simple things you could do. You could turn vegan. You could, say only yes to organic food. And there are so many ways you can do this. It's like Pradeep mentioned, the badge of honor. You need to feel proud that you live on this planet. It's a beautiful planet. And we must not think of it as a fad. It's not a trend on TikTok. This is something that we all must work towards, and not be that weird tree hugger in the party. And like it should become mainstream, and it is already happening.
Saying how can vegan products become more mass market, while our entrepreneurs are talking about the products that they've launched, till it becomes mass market, it's not really sustainable. What are the views of your entrepreneurs, Basan?
So, the moment you start talking about vegan and, associate such, names and phrases towards it, you start, restricting it. So the whole concept of sustainability, etc. Also, let me just go a little broader than this question itself. So, our plant-based companies are not focused at getting a product and then making it sustainable. Our focus has been towards a more sustainable way of life, that is as a person and for the environment. As you can see, I don't want to give a huge lecture here, but across the United Nations, several reports, the IPCC reports, the consumption of protein in countries in the Asia Pacific, Africa, Middle East region is going to rapidly increase. The water levels available for agriculture are decreasing. So the people's consumption of meat and dairy is increasing. So the animal farming is increasing. As it is, the carbon emissions out of animal farming, whether it is dairy, meat, etc., is a big component of the entire carbon emissions and climate change. So in that aspect, these companies like ours, whether it is plant-based companies like Altcore, whether it is EV, Cleantech, etc., so all these companies are working towards the same goal. I myself am not a vegan per se. When I was abroad and I was studying there, I shifted to oat milk and almond milk. So I like the products, not even for my own health or for sustainable reasons. And then I slowly adopted, and I was like, why doesn't India have such good products? And in that sense, we started Altco. So we, like most companies now throughout the globe, have tried to demolish this whole categorizing as vegan and niche. But if you need to create a market, it is to create a world-class product that's amazing. Don't focus on it being vegan or not vegan or plant-based. If the product is good, people will automatically catch on. But where one small thing is, how do we bring down the prices? And like I mentioned, most of the companies, including us, we are constantly evolving our supply chain strategies and our volume to bring down the prices.
That was part one of our masterclass focusing on sustainability and green and clean tech. We've run out of time on tonight's show. We have a part two coming up. Here's a sneak peek at what we have on that show.
Entire value chain from the start to the end to generate power, everything should be like green energy.
I think it's counterproductive when you look at the energy efficiency of the product because to create that container, there is some amount of energy that has been used already, which has a carbon emission.
We see the Indian market, the per capita income over the next few years is going to double, and consumers are very conscious about sustainability, etc.
India is a massive market. Indians are aspirational. What we need to give them is, when you're doing sustainable products, still give them the quality that they aspire for.
All right. Completely out of time then on this masterclass focusing on sustainability and green and clean technology. For more on how you perhaps could also continue focusing on being environmentally conscious, do remember that our contact details are coming up on your screens as we speak. There's also information on what we're doing in our next few masterclasses. You can head on over to our website for that. For now, it's good night. Thanks for watching.